Does anybody else know? It's a Carolina wren.
Sorry.
There's some dollar weed. That's now in my, I found it in my yard.
How long is our break tomorrow?
So Ranger Jeff, I'm curious. I knew at one time I've forgotten. Where is it? I think it was over. Now I can't see any of it. Oh, this one over here. Shoots up the flower. Doesn't it shoot up the flower? Like right here. What is that?
It's a woody goldenrod.
Okay, that's right. Okay, yeah.
We have several different types of goldenrod here. Seaside, like roadside. I don't even know them all. But that one is woody goldenrod.
Okay.
And the other ones grow out near the beach. This one grows back up this way.
Nice.
And guys, as we're walking, you'll see actually this part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where the flowers were. They pop up, and now they're gone. So goldenrod. Have you guys talked about the vine?
Smilax, yeah.
Smilax.
Yeah, Smilax.
Yes.
Um,
It does.
we'll see a lot of goldenrod next week, actually.
They said
Golden
this.
aster. You'll see how they look very similar, but one's endangered.
These around here in the fall, nature is an LSU fan because all the flowers seem to be purple and yellow.
Nice.
That's funny.
Yeah. But so like all through here, that woody goldenrod's all through here, so it throws up those high flowers, so you get a nice carpet of yellow. There's
Or
lots.
maybe LSU's nature fans.
Maybe. All I know is that all our yellow and purple flags.
There you go. I intentionally did not bring any sports paraphernalia because I don't know who to offend. Everybody to the right.
This is where we're going tonight.
Nice. This is where we're going tonight.
What, for scorpion hunting?
Catch scorpion inside my hand. Or doing
Oh, runner.
There is bears here.
There are bears. Good job.
Bears and tigers.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh
Are
my.
there a lot, or is it like very? Is it rare?
They're you probably won't encounter one. They slow down a whole lot in the wintertime.
Are you guests up here? Yeah. Awesome. Because I'll follow up.
They don't hibernate.
Not really. The females den up and give birth, but they don't. It doesn't. I mean, this is pretty cold this year, but it doesn't get cold enough for them to hibernate for any length of time. They just slow down and stop eating. And that's when we stop seeing them, because then they just stop getting in the trash. I was talking about bears. We do have bears here in the park.
So funny because I went out and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a bear, and I got so excited. And I'm
Well,
like, no, that's just a bark.
This is. I've chased them through here before.
That's awesome.
They will cross through here, but we have bears, deer, raccoons, bobcats, foxes, both red and gray, coyotes.
You have fox squirrel?
Nope, no fox squirrels, regular gray squirrels. So you notice we came down a very large hill back there. Small changes in elevation here equal big changes in ecosystem and habitat type. So we came down the hill and now we're entering into the pine flatwoods. There's a little low spot out there where you see the brown grasses. And then everything's still flowing this way to the lake. The Campbell Lake, the watershed for the lake is entirely within this park. And that was one of the reasons we had to build this road on grade, because up here you'll see there has to be a sheet flow across the road that goes down into the lake. But I want to stop here because this is part of our human history here in the park. This park has had various histories throughout the past. It was a trash dump for the residents of Walton County for a while. It was a recreation spot. There's lots of beer cans at the bottom of our lakes and also out our woods. And then when we got it in the mid-90s, we put an end to all of that stuff. But this goes back to the turn of the century. This is turpentining in this area, which was a very, very big industry. They started out by cutting holes or boxes in the bottom of the trees, and they'd scour the bark and let the sap go down to the bottom into the box. And they found that it was very hard on the tree; it killed the tree. So they came up with more sustainable ways for the tree to produce sap for over a longer period of time. So we are left with these wonderful relics of the past. They didn't treat the workers the best. They were typically indentured, especially after the Civil War. even though before the Civil War there was a lot of free blacks in the state of Florida, after the Civil War, all the slaves got freed, but institutionally in the government they weren't treated as equals, and so they actually had less freedom than before. So if they were standing around or standing about or doing nothing, then they could get arrested and they would go into a work camp where they would incur a debt to the company, and they would never in their entire life ever be able to pay off that debt. And they put them out to work in the woods around the area, and they get paid by the tree. And there's a lot of pine trees to cat face out here. This is what this is called a cat face. Can't really see it. Usually there's scour marks in it. Looks like cat whiskers, but this one doesn't really have it. It's been burned a couple times, and when fire hits this, it will burn all night. It'll burn all the way through the tree. It'll kill the tree. So we try to preserve these as best we can, and we still find turpentine pots, the hurdy cups they used to use out here.
Interesting.
Sometimes you'll see the nail still stuck in the tree or the metal gutters in there. And there was a couple stills over by Point Washington around the area, so they'd work this area and take it up there. This area was last worked in about the 40s, the early 40s, and it looks like in some areas they just left their stuff and just got out of here. But over by Stallworth Lake, there was actually worker housing called the Quarters, so all the workers had really nice beachfront over there. That's really high dollar area now. They didn't treat it as such back then, and then they worked these various woods all around the area. So this was a very, very big industry for the area. So you will see all through here, especially some of these older trees, lots of cat faces on these, or you'll see where the tree has grown around and covered it up where it's been damaged. But a lot of our older trees are like that.
Is it one specific kind of tree?
They did both longleaf and slash. A lot of them got cut down when St. Joe got a lot of this property around here. The St. Joe Paper Company, they cut down a lot of trees, a lot of old goat trees, and a lot of the catface trees in this area. Some of our areas were spared. A couple areas over Grayton were spared, so we have some really nice old longleaf trees with cat faces on them, and some even without. You'll notice these are kind of tall, but throughout most of the park here, most of our really old pine trees are not that tall. Just the canopy on them is not that high, which is kind of a challenge when we're burning, but it looks kind of nice. So we'll see some up here as we go up around the corner.
So guys, I wanted to point out, this is, if I could take a picture, and somebody get a good picture for me across this, if you will, please.
I've got video
Because,
too.
thank you. Because this is like picture perfect scorpion habitat in my mind. Okay, scorpions here in Florida occur in a few habitats, but this is like where they're most abundant. And what we found is, and we can look at the bark, this is a slash pine. And they call it that because you slash it to get the turpentine. But if you look at the bark, it's very wide. And do you mind if I pull one off? The bark, you see how that was charred from fire? If I just pulled out the outer layer and look underneath, it's really not that charred, right? This provides scorpions a refuge for getting away from fire. They actually, heck, there could be a scorpion in this tree right here. And so what they do is they go up under this bark, and they're nocturnal. So they stay there during the day, they come out at night, and they feed on all the insects and stuff around the place. So this is probably the primary refuge site for the scorpions, and it's the bark of these slash pines that allows the scorpions to keep away from fire. So if fire comes through, we can go back a few days later and scorpions will be out and about. And it's like, what happened? We actually experienced this one time, Highlands Hammock State Park. We went there right after a burn. As soon as it was cool enough we could walk in the area. Scorpions were everywhere. You're like, what's going on? And the thing is most of the vegetation had been burned, and so we were seeing more scorpions than we normally would have, because normally they hide in the vegetation. So this isn't the only place where they hide, but one of the main places. The other place, which I'm sure we'll come across, are the saw palmettos out there. They have rhizomes. Rhizomes are specialized modified stems that run along the ground, even underneath the ground. And every time they send up a new palm frond, there's a space right at the base of the petiole, and the old ones die off. Well, there's an area you can stick your whole finger in it, and scorpions also go in there through to colonize the area, to get the fresh flowers that bloom after a fire. The scorpions sit and wait and go, hey, I'm waiting for you. But this is like the typical shot. So not that we're going to do it tonight, because we don't want to bushwhack in state parks, but if we walked around to each tree trunk actually this would be a good study site, but we've never done it before, is you frequently see a scorpion on these slash pines. How many would you say? 1 every 5 to 10 trees we check,
Oh, minimum.
we find a scorpion, and that's just a snapshot. At any one time, only say 5% of the population of scorpions is active on any one night. So if, in theory, we're checking, you know, these trunks and we're seeing 1 every 5 to 10 trees, that must mean, multiply that by 20, there must be almost 1 on every single tree. Does that make sense?
And also, we're limited to how far up. I mean,
yeah.
we're just seeing it right here. Easy, we've seen them 15, 16 feet high.
Yeah.
And obviously, we can't get up there.
Yeah. And I found one record of a forester that found it, I think, up at 20, 30, 40 feet. He was doing something with a nesting box and came across a scorpion in the nesting box. And so he was checking, actually, his owl cavities. He's doing checks and found it way up there.
And you guys have seen the rhizomes of the saw palmetto. They're the ones that look like the roots that are coming out. They call them, I think they call them alligator back at Honeymoon Island.
Gatorback, yeah.
Gatorback,
Yep.
remember that? Those are rhizomes, okay? It's not actually the root system, it is the stem. It's a modified stem for those plants.
And so we have found scorpions associated with sand pines, but they're not as abundant. What we think is the fact that if you look at their bark, these are much larger pieces, it's
Yeah.
much deeper, rougher. And here's a sand pine over here, and it's more like oak. Occasionally you'll find a scorpion on an oak, but it's very rare, and we think that they are just casually moving, they're not taking refuge. I just don't think this is as prime territory as a slash pine.
It's harder to get under that. It's much
Yeah.
tighter than
Yeah.
than the other stuff.
And so I think they gravitate to places that give them
And flake as well.
refuge.
How big are the scorpions we're talking about?
Little tiny.
Alicia,
You will? Then
can you put this in your bag? I'm gonna take notes again when I get back when I listen to the movie.
They're venomous.
Can the venom really hurt us
I think it's
as
smaller the
big
worse,
as we
right?
are?
Yes.
You guys learned
It'll
how
feel
to
like a
saw
wasp.
palmettos, right?
Yeah.
A couple different areas you learned now on campus. This is what I was talking about. You see how far I can stick my finger in there? Okay,
Yeah, right.
if I get stung, then but they can go all the way down. So that's part of the rhizome, and that's where we find a lot of them.
Oh crap, I see it.
Okay, sorry, I won't interrupt any more rangers.
We're good.
Did everybody get that? That's St. John's wort over there.
Hypericum in the park.
St. John's wort,
is the
that's
yellow
famous.
flower. Yellow flower.
Hypericum in the park.
St. John's wort.
Probably have seen it.
They sell it in the pharmacy.
There's lots of different pieces of it.
What are the best things to use St. John's wort for? I think
know,
it's like
prostate?
depression or something.
No, that's
maybe?
saw palmetto. Yeah, actually, yeah, I think maybe.
Okay, it's broken up line.
Sorry, I
And
get
this
cold.
actually,
Huh?
they call it
Sorry,
the
I get
music
cold.
Do you want to use my jacket? I'm not using it.
Thank you, though.
meaning because all of this is fast draining soil that we're on. It is frequently flooded or holds water, and then it drains, so it holds more water. That's why some of the more upland species aren't found in this area. But the slash pine, even some of the longleaf, love it. And this is very characteristic of the music flatwood right here. Music, M-E-S-I. Not music. It could be music to your ears, you know?